All right, welcome, aspiring architects. If you are getting ready for the ARE, especially PA, PPD, or PDD, you already know that solar heating is a huge topic. So in this session, we're going to crack the code on passive and active solar so you could walk into that exam and just crush those questions. Okay, let's get right into it.
It all really boils down to this one fundamental question. The ARE absolutely loves to test you on this in all sorts of ways. And the key isn't just knowing that you can use the sun, it's knowing how. And really, there are two very, very different paths you can take. For the exam, the most critical distinction is this. Are you using machines, or are you using the building itself? On one side, you've got your mechanical systems. That's kind of the engineer's approach. And on the other, you have pure architectural design. That's the architect's move. Let's dig into the architect side first.
Now, this is where we, as the designers, get to be really clever. Passive solar is all about making the building do the work for you, turning the very shape and materials of your design into a heating system.
I want you to burn this sentence into your brain. This is the absolute core concept you have to get. If you're reading an exam question and it's describing a strategy that works without any pumps, without any fans, or any controllers, you are firmly in the world of passive solar. It's pure, it's elegant, and it's all about physics. The magic word here is naturally. We're basically just leveraging simple thermodynamics, heat moving from hot to cold all by itself. There's no extra energy needed, no complicated machinery. It's just about designing a building that instinctively knows how to catch the sun and hold onto its warmth. Okay, these are your weapons. This is your architectural toolkit for passive design, and you can expect to see every single one of these terms on your exam. For PPD, the questions are going to be about the big picture stuff, like orienting the building to the south. But for PDD, they'll get into the nitty-gritty, like specifying the right materials for thermal mass or doing the exact math for your overhangs. Just think about a car that's been parked in the sun all day. The windows let the light in, that's collection. The dark dashboard and seats get incredibly hot, that's your thermal mass storing all that energy. And then hours later, you get in and it's still warm inside. That's distribution. Your building can do the exact same thing, just a whole lot more intelligently. All right, let's zoom in on a classic passive system that you absolutely positively have to know, the Trombe wall. This is the perfect textbook example of what we call an indirect gain system. So the big idea here is indirect gain. And all that means is that the sunlight isn't heating the room directly. Instead, it heats up this massive, dark-colored wall that's sitting behind a pane of glass, and then that wall becomes this giant, slow-release radiator for the room. During the day, this whole thing creates this beautiful, silent, natural engine. The sun heats the air, hot air rises and flows into the room through the top vent, and that movement pulls the cooler air from the room in through the bottom vent to get heated up. It's a self-perpetuating loop, powered only by the sun. But that's only half the story. The real genius, the secret sauce of the Trombe wall, is something called time lag. You see, that thick, dense wall absorbs heat really slowly. It actually takes hours for the heat to move all the way through the concrete or brick. So long after the sun has gone down, that wall is still slowly releasing its stored warmth into the room, giving you the steady, radiant heat all through the night. Okay, let's switch gears. We've talked about the architect's move, where the building itself is the machine. Now let's flip the script and look at the engineer's system, which is where we add a machine to the building. This is the other side of the coin. So if you're in the exam and a question starts mentioning things like pumps, fans, sensors, or big storage tanks, ding, 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 a little alarm should go off in your head that says, okay, we're talking about an active solar system now. So the huge difference here is the reliance on external energy and equipment. We're actively using technology to move heat around. Now, this makes the system more complex, sure, but it also makes it more powerful and flexible. And, unlike passive design, you can often retrofit an active system onto a building that's already there. Take a look at this diagram. This is your typical setup. You've got collectors on the roof, grabbing the sun's energy. You have pumps that are moving a fluid, like water or glycol, to a big storage tank. And then all that stored heat is used by your regular furnace or radiant floor system. Let's break down those parts you need to know. These right here, these are your exam keywords. These are your cheat codes. If you see solar collector, pump, or storage tank, you're deep in active system territory. And on the PDD exam, they'll focus on the details, like how you integrate these with the other MEP systems, the structural load of those collectors on the roof, or even the piping details.
So the big question is, how does NCRB actually test you on these two different approaches? Well, it all comes down to understanding which phase of design you're in. Think of this table as your secret weapon for those tricky multiple choice questions. It lays it all out. Passive is all about the initial architectural design. It's low maintenance and is tested as a site and building design strategy. Active, on the other hand, is an MEP system. It has higher costs, requires maintenance, and it can be added on later. And this chart breaks down the difference between the two exams perfectly. PPD is all about the big early moves. It's asking, where does the building go? What shape should it be? PDD is about the nitty-gritty details. It's asking, okay, how thick is that wall? What are the flashing details for these collectors on the roof? Knowing which hat to wear is absolutely key. Okay, listen up because this is a golden rule for the exam. If a question asks for the first consideration or the most important step in a cold climate, always, always, always choose a passive strategy first. Think like an architect. Try to solve the problem with smart design, orientation, massing, glazing, before you just throw a machine at it. Reduce the heating load first, then meet what's left with an active system. Phew, we've covered a lot of ground, so let's pull all of this together into one single, powerful slide that you can use for your final review. Go ahead. Pause and screenshot this. I'm serious. This is everything we've talked about, boiled down to the absolute essentials you need to know. You've got the mantra, the keywords, the pros and cons, and exactly how it's going to be framed on PPD versus PDD. This is your key to unlocking those solar heating questions. And really, that's the main takeaway. The best, most sustainable buildings don't choose one or the other. They integrate both. You use brilliant passive design to dramatically lower your heating needs in the first place, and then you bring in a super efficient active system to handle the rest. That is how you design for the future. Good luck on your exams.